Hello, friends. How is everybody doing? This is Dustin Coyle. This is Intelligent Thoughts. And you think that this is the Daily Wager, but it's not. No NBA today. Skipping the Daily Wager. We're going right into the UFC on Fox 24 breakdown. How is everybody doing today? I'm doing pretty well. It's a rainy-ass day, but it's another day off for me. So I'm pretty happy about it. A pretty good day. Gonna sit around, pull a couple of podcasts, play a little pool, and have a chill and drink a couple wobbly pops, which is always fun. Got one right now, actually, 10:15 a.m. Sometimes it's a good idea. But what are we doing? We're talking about basically MMA, a few things in general, but most specifically UFC on Fox 24 from Kansas City, Missouri. This Saturday night, we have a flyweight championship. Of course, the P for P King, Demetrius L. Mighty Mouse Johnson versus Wilson Hayes. A veteran as well, Brazilian veteran. Haven't fought Demetrius yet, so he pretty much is just at the point where he's attempting to clear out the division. Hayes right now, the number 3 ranked fighter. He just beat Uko Sasaki by decision, what was that, 2 months ago? I think it was UFC 208. I think it was that Jermaine Durandamy card. Or it might have been in Brazil. I can't remember. But 2 months ago. And then back in July, he submitted Hector Sandoval with a rear naked choke, first round. Went over Dustin Ortiz also last year. His only loss in the last little bit has come to Jussier Formiga, excuse me. The dude who looks like he will be fighting Mighty Mouse, assuming he gets another win here. He looked really good against Ray Borg, like a few months ago. Wilson Hayes is a plus 550. Or not right now, actually. Let's take a look at this. I actually put a couple bucks on him at a plus 650. I'll say that. Probably like a week and a half ago or something. Not that I really think he's going to win. We'll find out here in a minute, but at least what I think. We'll find out what I think. But I just thought a plus 650 was massive, and that's just because nobody really knows who he is. His name doesn't get a lot of recognition. And then Demetrius, of course, the P4P champ. Everybody thinks he's just world, and he is, generally speaking, and probably is really just worlds better than the competition at 125. But let's take a look over here. We'll look at the odds. Try to hop onto the old trusty betonline.ag. One of my favorite sites, obviously. And so right now, Wilson Hayes is a plus 525. Mighty Mouse a minus 700. When I had Wilson at the same website, I had Wilson plus 650 like a week or two ago. Demetrius was a minus 900, which is insane. I don't think I've ever seen a minus 900 spread on MMA. I haven't really been paying a ton of attention, I guess, but minus 500 is vicious. I mean, I've seen 600 and 700 and shit, but even that's pretty fucking rare. That must have been probably just really the old days, or Anderson Silva. But so that is that. What else about Wilson Hayes? 22-6 is a career record, 10 submissions, never knocked anyone out. He is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, a brown belt in... No, sorry, he was the brown belt world champion, my bad. Let's take a look at that. What was he? Where are we at? Yeah, it says in 2004 he actually won the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu World Championships as a brown belt. It's been a while. He's been a black belt for a long time under Roberto Godoy. We'll see what we got here. I mean, he's definitely put up, a few good wins, a couple poor losses, but, Eduardo Dantas being one of them. He's been in Bellator for a long time. Patricio Freire twice. Good fighter, though. Sorry about that. I'm just reading. Demetrius Johnson, though. Just coming off that win over Tim Elliott, where he was a mass. That was actually probably a bigger favorite than this one, or pretty close to it. Back in December, the Ultimate Fighter finale, I believe. Tim Elliott looked really fucking good, though. He's actually fighting on this card as well. Pretty sick win there. Before that, back in April, the Henry Cejudo fight, which was a seriously dangerous opponent, TKO'd him with some knees and some punches. Just keeps defending the belts. Remember the John Dodson decision that was actually on at work yesterday? Got to watch that. Demetrius sitting there at 25, 2-1, 5 knockouts, 9 submissions. What is it? 1 inch shorter than Wilson at 5'3". An inch longer reach though at 66 inches. He's fighting out of Parkland, Washington. Matt Hume, of course. I should have mentioned Wilson Hayes is fighting out of Alliance MMA in San Diego, so he has a great camp as well. Very, very intelligent camp there. It's going to be a pretty interesting fight. Hayes is older. He has, been unsuccessful against worse opponents. Been pretty successful against good opponents, but and obviously has some serious grappling skills. 10 submissions, 10 of his 22 victories are by submission, which is usually harder to get than a KO. Maybe not for flyweights though, but generally speaking, it's harder to get than a KO. No knockouts though, so that makes me think that he probably doesn't provide too much of a threat on the feet to Demetrius, especially with Demetrius's movement, how dynamic Demetrius is, all the different strike. He has the best repertoire of skill set, or talents in the probably in the UFC. He literally does everything well, like at very high level. So there are really no holes in Demetrius's game. When Demetrius loses, it's going to have to be somebody who's either a much better striker, much bigger, or a much better grappler, I think, than he is. And right now, you could make the argument that Wilson Hayes is a much better grappler, and he is most likely, on paper, he is a much better grappler. We'll find out when we see it, but on paper, he is an exceptional grappler. Did that stop him from losing some of these other fights? No, including to Jussier Formiga, no. And Demetrius Johnson's also a pretty exceptional grappler as well. Matt Hume, the whole team, really, really smart, really thoughtful in the way that they approach combat. I think this is going to go like everybody else thinks this is going to go. I see probably a decision victory for Demetrius Johnson. If I had to bet, I would say a decision victory for Demetrius Johnson. We could see an early stoppage. I don't think he's going to be able to submit Hayes. Hayes' only chance to win the fight, in my opinion, is to submit Demetrius Johnson. There's no way he's going to win there's no way Demetrius isn't going to win at least 3 points, extra points, and get a 48. I mean, there's no way he's going to stop him from getting a 48 points, at least on scorecards, unless he submits him. It's just a submission. For Demetrius Johnson, I think he could actually submit Hayes, possibly. He could knock Hayes out, or, what is most likely, he could obviously get that decision victory. Let me go look at some props or futures here. I want to see what the likelihoods BetOnline thinks if they have it. Where are we, MLB? It doesn't look like we have any MMA futures right now. I was wondering what percentages and things like that, what spreads they gave or money lines they gave on the decision versus other ways of victory for Demetrius. But if I have to call, I'm taking Demetrius Johnson for a decision victory. Like I said, I put Wilson Hayes plus 650 just because that's such a massive spread, and he is an exceptional grappler. So I figured that there's probably that area that we could lie on, but otherwise, I'm pretty much just in the same bank as the same ballpark as everybody else is. Demetrius Johnson's probably going to get a W here. I think he's going to tie. That'll give him, I think, 10 consecutive title defenses, which would tie Anderson Silva for the most of all time, I do believe. I think right now he's tied with GSP at 9. I could probably look that up, but I think I'm just going to say it and have you guys believe me. And so I do think that this would tie him with GSP for 10 consecutive title defenses, which is obviously a pretty fucking... Or not GSP, excuse me, Anderson Silva. Which is obviously an incredible fucking feat. He's a much lighter weight division than Anderson is, obviously, which I think works into his advantage, just because there aren't that many people there are tons of 200-pound dudes floating around. I mean, there's not a ton of 140-pound dudes floating around. if that makes sense. I'm sure that does. Especially in America, whereas for the majority of his career, 125 has been either an American or Brazilian weight class for the most part. But yeah, go ahead and give me Demetrius to defend his championship. All right, moving on to the co-main event of the evening. A bad motherfucking matchup. You gotta love both of these ladies. Two of the more popular ladies. Women's strawweight event. Number 4, Rose Namajunas versus number 6, Michelle Karate Hottie Watterson. Watterson, a plus 115, slight underdog. Rose, a minus 135, slight favorite. Michelle Watterson, if you remember, just had that submission win, the rear naked choke victory over Paige Van Zandt back in December. I'm sure you do remember. It kind of exploded her onto the scene as basically a premier name, somebody that's going to be co-main event or co-headlining an event over Jacare, for example. I mean, Jacare is a name and a half, so and then Rose Namajunas everybody loves as well. But that win over Van Zandt. 5 months before that, another rear naked choke victory over Angela Magana. And then about a year before that, she was submitted by Haricia Tiburcio with a guillotine back in December of 2014. 2 straight wins, back-to-back wins for her, though. Rated number 6. Obviously has a fantastic skill set. She's a black belt in karate, just a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, but she's working at Jackson Wink in Albuquerque, which is, clearly one of the best overall gyms in the country, and top 3, as far as game planning and having an intelligent approach and teaching and things like that. She is 31, 7 years older than Rose, 5'3", which is 2 inches shorter than Rose, but obviously maintains space pretty well as well. Rose is just coming off of that loss to Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Split decision, though. That could have went either way back in, was that July? The end of July, I think. Before that, she was on a few fight win streak, beating Tisha Torres with a decision. She also submitted Paige Van Zandt with a rear naked choke. That a 5th round, and a standing rear naked choke victory over Angela Hill back in October of 2015 in the first round. Angela Hill now back in the UFC after dominating, I think, 4 fights over Invicta. Back in the UFC, she's looking good again, so that's awesome for her. Rose Namajunas is a black belt in Taekwondo and Karate, brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu, so she's going to have a pretty significant grappling advantage here in this one, most likely. Just 24 years old, 5'5", 65-inch reach. Her record just sits at 5-3, though. 4 submissions to 14-4 for Michelle, 3 KO, 9 submissions. Not a ton of experience for Rose, but it actually doesn't come across as that. She has a lot of poise for somebody so young and so inexperienced. And that's why she's been able to get wins over veterans and stuff like, Tisha Torres and things like that. What do I think? Man, I think that the size advantage for Rose, well, it's only 2 inches, but I think that it'll be helpful quite a bit, seeing as they're both similar fighters that are going to try to use space. I think that Michelle is going to have to probably get more to the inside against her, Rose, maybe than she did against Paige Van Zandt, or what had to against Paige Van Zandt. And so I think that the advantage in the striking is probably going to go to Rose. Slightly. I think it'll be close, but I think that Rose has a slight advantage there. And in the grappling, I think she has a more significant advantage. Obviously, being a brown belt in jiu-jitsu and also being bigger with longer arms and stuff, that will be, I think that would prove to be a favorable for her, at least over Watterson. So I'm not actually going to bet on this. I don't really know who's going to win the fight, but if I had to pick anybody, I would say Rose probably wins probably a decision. I think this is a 3-round fight. I think Rose probably wins a decision here. Don't mark my word on it, though. I love Michelle Watterson. She's awesome. But this is probably, that's a pretty close fight, but that's probably the way that one's going to go.